a little bit of my hair and did some things to myself. I know it's the first time you've seen me done up a little bit. The lighting in here is horrendous. So we've got the sun and the moon in Algorab right now. And I hope you can hear me, because I'm not going to use earbuds because of what we've learned about the earbuds and all of that. And I am going to smoke my vape, and I am going to be natural in this conversation. I'm not going to, as I talk about money and finance and the true nature of money and finance and how this financial system works with the human collective and what changes everybody's about to see and why. I have seen, now, first of all, Algorab, which is right here, it's number 17, and it is 12 to 16 degrees of Libra. Now, in all my charts, it don't matter if it is October 5th or October 7th, clone batches, because that is what we're talking about here. We're talking about massive groups of humans tuned to you. From 12 to 16 degrees of Libra, what that's hinging and what it's mirroring is Aries. It's mirroring number 1, which is Alpha Draconic Notice 44. And it is the new body template. It's the new collective that everyone is flipping into, like, now. Because time has been blown. Now, if you have Libra, and if you have this degree, 12 to 16 degrees of Libra, then your whole life has been extreme dark and light. Extreme dark and light. Everything is great, and you are flowing, and there's nothing that can stop you. Like, no matter what, you're completely linked in and connected, or everything is pure living hell. Now, the reason for that, and even why their Proposition 23, 32, whatever the hell programming that they even used Cohu 32 for, will only take you up to 17 in the wheel. It's now been blown, by the way. Okay, which is what I'm on here attempting to discuss with everybody in regards to what is coming with the market and money. And at 3:57 in, I don't even have one being on here. Now, that should tell everybody something. 12 to 16 degrees of Libra is, and there's that you are constantly, you were being followed. Everyone wanted to know what you liked, what you didn't like. This is why most Libras always got such a hard time about being indecisive. And the reason being, and if you go back to the M35 and astronomy polling where I show those dark side suns and moons, is because what you're doing and what you were always doing was channeling large groups of collectives, and you were the decision maker. Not only that, depending on how you were tuned in, what year it was, if you were being a good little soldier, or if you were being a rebel like me. Because, see, I played along for a while and I got everything right. But then whenever I started figuring out the game is when all of it got pulled. And I'm only saying that because that's when basically my picker, like whenever I look at things and I say, oh, I want this one. Us Libras, and when I was in the program, holy crap, we shopped. We were your commerce shoppers. I mean, you can just say Libra was the first ever paid shopper to secret shoppers. That's what you were. You were a secret shopper for specific collectives, because what clothes you were buying, what you liked, what you were picking out on the internet, what you went into the store to look at, because, we're talking, I really want to focus in on the time before we had technology. What stores you went to. How did you put those things together? All of that, all of it was always being observed. And even the choices sent to you, sometimes even from board meetings, from marketing groups, even before technology, even before technology. Because I know for a fact, because this is why, even me as a small child, 2 years old, I was going to Dallas Market in the fashion industry. But I'm Venus, right? Not only that, whenever you are a ancient, and whenever you, because this was no normal time, it is no normal time, this is the end of time. And even the reason that time got blown is because of how they were making us and utilizing us in Libra. What I now know, and what I can't wait to meet more of, because I haven't really met anyone that I know for sure was like me in this fact. I was always 10 years ahead. And this is how, and this is really important to understand this right now for with what's coming. I was always 10 years ahead. Well, now that I know what I know, and now, finally coming out of the earth core and the sun core and, all of these things, what we also understand is that there really is no time. And especially since the year 2000, there really has not been time. And, one day is 10 days, is 100 days, is 1,000 days. And all of us, especially Generation Xers, and the ones that are starting to come up in the collective now, which I do want to discuss. There's a lot of things that I want to throw in here. It's why you couldn't notice it was happening to us. Because what was happening is we were developing, creating, sending in patents, sending in and Cohe 32. Even my company GIA Technology, even. We were always developing it, and we were always doing it 10 years ahead. Now, it was even by program and design, and it even is why none of us were ever, we were successful in our own right, but we never made it to an Elon Musk stage, and that was so that we wouldn't get comfortable in it and not change, because it's not why we were here. We weren't here to be Elon Musk. We were here to do mass alchemy, and we were here when money falls and crashes, when we found out what it really was set up on, which is what everybody in the world is fixing to see. And the reason that we were the black sheep, and the reason that it seemed like we were always losing everything and bad things were happening to us, was because all of those things that we were developing, and I don't care if it was a business, if it was a child, if it was a marriage, if it was a friendship, if it was a connection into specific arenas and industries, it was always writing the timeline that then was going to go out to the masses 10 years later. Now, this leads me to an analogy. And I don't care what if you believe me or you don't believe me or this or that, but if you can't tell that the actions that we've taken over here have changed the world and that are making mass changes, then please don't watch my channel anymore. Number one. Number two, the reason that it is doing that is because it's always what we were doing in the first place. It's just now we have been trained the past 6 years to write mass programs without being controlled that affect the world, that change every single dimension within 24 hours. Whether or not I have 2 on here, thank you for being here, or 2,000, because let me tell you, there ain't many of us that can do what I'm talking about. So let me ask you a question. Because this is ancient Egypt stuff. This is ancient Egypt. This is ancient alchemy. This is new physics. This is how things are created. This is how the hell we built the pyramids. These are all the questions that everybody is mad because the elite can do this and the elite can do that. But yet I have 2 on here right now. Everybody would much rather just complain about it and not come and learn how to create your own reality and create your own energy and money current, because you're going to have to. You're going to have to. Period. Dot. Everybody in the world is going to be losing their jobs. There ain't no more corporations. In fact, they shouldn't have been here the past 20 years. It was all a timeline hack since 2000 with that little ExxonMobil merger and a technology that then was siphoning your energy and putting you into a gridded road motherboard network, which they are still building batteries, which are buildings, and which they still are acting like a bunch of humans are going to be inside those boxes. And what good is a battery without a source? What good is a battery if you have nothing to plug it into? It ain't worth nothing. And so in ancient Egypt, if you came to your Egyptian schooling, which, by the way, your sister was sold for, okay? Your family sold your little brother, or your sister had to marry the evil guy so that y'all could have enough money so that you could come and train with the ancient Egyptians to learn how to manipulate the world and how to control the world. Do you show up and say, would you like a reading? Do you show up to your ancient beings that are there teaching you, and that everyone is killing each other for, selling each other for, working hard until the day they die for. Do you show up to your teacher and school them? Now, I'm not saying you show up and you just follow the leader and you don't question things and you don't think about it and you don't go do your own research. And I'm not saying that you don't leave with all of your friends that are in the school and have a bunch of discussions about what a bitch the teacher is and what the hell is she talking about. No, I'm not saying that at all, because that is actually part of the process, right? It's part of the process. And even your teacher and the master Egyptian, we knew that. That's why we had our own little group of teachers that trust we's doing the same thing about all y'all. And as the years progressed, and as the kids came into the schools, and as even the adults came into the schools, and we saw the consciousness slipping and slipping and slipping and slipping, you can trust that all of us in the teacher lobby are having way more volatile conversations about all of you. Because we're going, what the F? What's going on? Why aren't they getting this? They just got this last year. Like, what's changed? What alchemy do we need to use? How do we change our setting, right? The questioning and the fact that so many of us ancients that were sacrificed for millions of years and siphoned for millions of years and bloodlet in order to inject into these people and beings and entities and whatever the F balls that they are, which by the way, we did mass alchemy on adrenaline today, and I reprogrammed it to Saturn, and they're about to turn into bugs. So FYI, mass alchemy alert. Trust that this is a complete physics flip. And all of the information that you ever learned, all the information that the Egyptians even taught, that set up your Amun-Ra financial system, by the way. I mean, the current financial system and how that current was alchemized and set up, that ended up in last days in the human history since its beginning, whether it be gold, silver, I don't care what it is. Bit is a great example. Do you know what bit is collateralized by? Cloning and baby selling and baby farming of consciousness of mass groups that then vaccinated themselves, pharmaceuticals, in order to be put back into a system that they had planned was going to roll for the next 1,000 years. Same as Egypt. Same thing. That whole system, blown. If you don't understand that your dollar, it literally has doll in it, literally, is based on feminine, human consciousness of very specific DNA lines that were always inside your earth, getting sacrificed, allowing it to happen. Even the dark entities, even Lilith, they're trying to bring Lilith back now. Well, sorry about your luck, Lilith ascended. Those stories and those connections that you had into all of these entities and every single mass consciousness that was connected to it, that then broke down to a 14-digit code that was on your decimal system behind your astrology chart. and all those financial codes and how many digits they are and how many it's encrypted is all the physics that I teach over here. I'm currently even seeing, I mean, and to my spiritual community now. If you, no matter what you've been doing to make a living, you best start finding another way to do it. And I don't care if you're doing readings and you're doing tarot readings. And what happened to all my healers? Where'd they go? Why are everything and these tarot readers that want to tell you what you're thinking, like you're not going to be able to read for me. Now, what would I pay for? You going to teach me something new? What would I pay for? Well, I wouldn't even pay for a flush healing, because we know that whenever we come in your energy, we're actually flushing you and you're flushing me. And so it's a barter system. It's an energetic barter. And we know that there is no amount of money that you gonna have in order to pay that back to us. We just know that we're making a new current. And we know that whenever we're clearing all of this and clearing it from each other in order to make a new current, that we're on the top of what you would call, if you want to, the new pyramid. And then we know that then come a year, 2 years from now, when the complete financial is all 2008 all over again, because anybody right now who is buying a house, who's buying a car, who's leaking into any contracts with a bank, what the hell are you doing? All up and down my street, I see these people that have new Audis, new Toyotas, and man, you went in and signed a debt card that financial system is set up to convince you that you can afford it, with the financial system damn well knowing that you're going to have to surrender the property. It's what they did in 2008. It's what they did whenever this current came in 2008 in order to shift it, and the beings that were being born in 2007 and 2008 came in to shift it. And that's why this bullshit kept running as long as it did. I'm literally seeing readers on, now this particular one, I'm not going to name the name because I know too that she was using stolen codes. Now, it don't even matter if you're using or did use stolen codes. There's a reason that you had them. There's a reason that your videos were getting 4,000 plays. But we don't want to hear about relationship tarot bullshit anymore. Everybody, if you're not teaching people how to read the tarot, then you're behind. Not only that, what you've done, and it's just a lesson, and everybody's going to have to ship up and level up. But what you've done is create a whole bunch of people who need you. Just like being a CEO, or just like being, a celebrity, or just like being the boss, It's like if you're the boss and all these people report to you, or you're the CEO, because my whole thing was always, when I got 70 consultants on, it was like, oh shit, how am I going to make payroll? And every night I'm stressed because I'm connected into every single one of those families, not just the employee, the family. And I'm getting it every single night that my employee, which was mostly men because I was in technology, was stressing about their own financial whatever the hell. And I'm feeling it, not only because of that, but because, my God, I got to make payroll. It's my job. Now, what all these tarot readers have done is fuck up the entire ascension, and we're done with it, and it's time for it to end. And payments should not be being made for something so trivial as to read your mind. There are way too many. What it did was set up a whole bunch of circle rounders, you know, and now we're seeing the vampire and all that type of energy infiltrate into the healing networks. And, you know, what we're seeing is them drumming up fear, drumming up, you know, I mean, every single person that attacked me throughout my ascension said that they were spiritual in some way. But were they really helping, or were they conjuring an energy to keep that energy in play so that you'd keep paying them? So that, or are they signed up to infiltrate into the spiritual community, to keep it in astrology, in flux? Yeah, like David Palmer. That'd be a great example. That'd be a perfect example. Because they knew what was coming, right? If you or anyone you know is doing astrology and you're not looking at the stars, you need to stop and level up. You need to look at now every single bit of the planetary history and what happened before, and all that astrology information is useful information. It's just going to make all of this, even coming from you, even more than coming from me, on a lot of aspects. Because whenever I'm talking about this, I'm talking about clearings, I'm talking about how to get you out of the wheel, I'm talking about how to get you to master your abilities, all right, that came from all of it. But I don't know anything about when this was and that was and when these connected and blah, 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 blah. And so whenever you have all of that information, and then you add, and this is just an example, because this goes into every single aspect of your life and whatever it is that you're currently doing to make money. There's a level up to it so that it continues to build in the new physics. This reader is whining and complaining because she only has 3,700 views on that video, and it has been up there for whoa. Honey child, try being the being that's trying to connect and get this information out to the entire world so that y'all don't float off the planet, but you're the one who's receiving 3,700 views. And her post said, and I called 3 lawyers, and I'm talking to them about no. Well, I'd stop watching that reader. Because if you're trying to tell everybody that you have a spiritual connection, that you can read, and that you can channel your ancestors, and that you're supposed to be giving helpful information, I can guarantee you that your ancestors aren't telling you to call a lawyer in any situation right now. No way. That has already been dead, buried, and over with, because they've been borrowing from the futures for 20 years. The only reason that I am not Elon Musk right now, and the only reason that I don't have my son right now, and my house, and everything that's been taken from me, is because I don't have money to pay a lawyer. If you're an attorney, you best go back and look at LegalZoom and how that Kardashian setup started, and rework that a little bit and see how you can get a whole bunch of legal information out to a whole bunch of people for a lot cheaper. because you're not going to get your $20,000 retainer. You're not going to get your $25,000 retainer. In fact, those beings are all going to be bugs here really quick. I'm saying this with a lot of force because understand that this is happening. I can tell you right now what's already going to happen because I lived it. This is why those of us, and me particular, 2013, what is this? 2023, 2013, my company got stolen. Well, that's coming for all of you. It's coming for all of you, because realize that you think that your money is controlled. I mean, that it's yours, and that they can't just come and do whatever to take over whatever. But I mean, even the celebrities right now can't get to their money. It's being held, or it's on a timer. And then it's all linked in to what's supposed to be coming. And if you haven't done this and you haven't done that, and I need everyone to hear that the beings that were your energy system in this system aren't there anymore. They did not get their 6 sacrifices. They do not have their Ostera. They do not have Venus trapped in a fucking box. They don't have us turned on backwards. And they're not running your entire manifestation Venetian energy. So if they can't get it from us, who are they going to come to? The closest gene count next. So I can tell you how it's going to start. The beings that are around you are going to start getting a little bit more forceful in telling you exactly what you can and can't do in the beginning. That's how it's going to start. Then shit's just going to start missing. Then they're going to put all the pressure of fear and anxiety about all of it on you, because energetically, that's what energy they need you in now. See, when you use a celebrity and use the big shot, they needed you to be shiny and Leo and ha. But no, not whenever you're the source. When you're the source, they need you in fear. They need you in controllable mode. And that is what they're going to do. And it's how a lot of you will start identifying it, but don't think that you're null from the program, because it's a mass consciousness setup. I really need y'all to hear this, because we're doing everything that we can to help y'all. And these new frequencies that I'm talking about will be built. There will be people coming in to invest with us that know how to make money with nothing, or that know how to turn a little bit into a whole fucking lot, which is why everybody was buying, selling, trapping us, and trying to kill us our entire existence. Because we're muses. We're genies. It's what they always knew since the 90s. That's what they's testing us for this whole time. They used every single one of us to process your digital currency, to the extent that that's how I know and set up the tech and was able to even go in and utilize the technology that was taken from me, whether or not I had the hands on it or not. In fact, if you stole it from us and you didn't do right by us universally, and it was part of the mass alchemy plan, oh, hell yeah, we can control it. So that's the second mass alchemy, Starlink. You just lost B Caves, 2222. You just lost AB, all AB, and OA blood types. And you lost Austin, and you lost all broadband. And broadband is ching-ching, bye. Because it's not needed anymore. Neither is blockchain. I didn't, there's 4 There's 4 of these that have everything to do with money. Well, 5 if you count the new Regulus. Regulus, which is all about Leo, and Cleo, the master decan of Leo, and this is Libra, you know, and I'm sorry, Venus coming through Leo, and all the things that we walked, and all the things as other and there wasn't anything wrong with what the readers and healers were doing in that particular time count, but it's like the spiritual community thinks that if you're a tarot card reader, it's like you're a master of the spiritual universe, and it's as high as you can get. And anybody that comes along with any type of information is nuts right now. It's nuts. Like it ain't even as progressed as it was in 2017 and 2018. Why? Everybody was tuned. Everybody was tuned and put in a bigger vat. Well, understand that 2014, which is next year, is when the world goes bankrupt. I lived it. They used me to write it. This is why the backing of beings like me that have proved, and this isn't even a tote to me. This is just in general. Those of us that were tested, utilized by the Air Force, by the government, and utilized to build your currencies, to build your monetary systems, to pick out what the hell the community wants and doesn't want. That specifically beings like us that rewrote the DNA count and that are not time travelers because we actually set time. It's totally different. It's totally different. This physics flip is where your angels become demons, and what you thought were demons become angels. It's where the feminine is in full control right now, and needs to be for a minute, because there ain't no man down here that's listening to us. And the only women that seem to be even out there, and this is even in country singing, you notice there's no women singers. It's because they don't want you to feel our emotion. They'll promote any man that comes in that has the right tune, but if it's a woman, they ain't gonna do it because they don't want you to feel what I'm telling you. So I think that's just about all I wanted to say for this. Oh, Regulus, which is number 13. And then you can add, because that's the king energy. There's a reason that everyone's charts were hybridized to that. It's a reason that everybody was trying to be Leo. But understand that the Cleo codes went in, and Cleo and the entire Egyptians that were down in Shambhala, that were the core of your planet, that was being siphoned in order to put these old frequency patterns out, have all clean rewritten DNA, and it's not attached to any of the old crap. In fact, it's why Greece is flooding. It's why every single stronghold from New York on a lyric center freaking guitar string attached to a heartstring of the collective body is gonna fold, and it's gonna fold quick. This is the same thing as Wendy's putting out a penny burger. This is the same thing as people out there toting and talking about the fact that your birth certificate, you can go into the bank and sign the back of your birth certificate, and you can sell your birth certificate for face value. How do you think I ended up being owned by banks and not having any rights my entire existence? Because people were stealing my birth certificates, which they did, my son and mine, and then I'm sure that's what they did. But then you're a slave. Same thing as Biden coming out, which it hadn't been out in a while, and thank God, so maybe I won't even bring it up. But, you know, this is the same thing as this ableist community that everybody was getting paid to be stupid, retarded. What do I mean? Because if you had this disorder and you had that disorder, then you got $700 a month from the government, then you got $800 a month from the government. Well, but you've also signed up to be everybody's gimp or cripple. And you're getting paid to be it. It's very simple. It's very simple. Now, I know that that's hard to say whenever you think that you've got to pay rent and you think you've got to pay more. But see, that's my point. If you were supporting beings like me that proved divine lineage and that know for a fact, because I have gone in and put in the codes in your system on 3 dimensions, that none of us should be paying mortgage right now. Nobody should be building buildings right now. Nobody should be paying rent right now. All of your factories and all of the Nasara Gasara information went in October 10th, 2020. Now, why that date? Because that's the date that I took over the Evergreen in 2020. Bill Clinton signed it October 10th, 2010 to the date. But the reason that he signed it on that day is because that is the day, 10 years later, that I claimed the Evergreen for all of us. Because this is a complete epic reset. And the whole reality, not just your money, realize that we had 6 billion souls missing from the future. Because this went on for 20 years, too long in our current state. Because of the cloning, the manufacturing, the robotics, the masks, the full-on play and assembly that they're still presenting now. Now, everyone has their own journey. Everyone does. Everyone has a right to go fuck up. You do. But I'll tell you this. We are writing this reality because we always have been. And everything that I'm stating to you is not only just because I say it. No, it's because it was lived and it is what time it is. I give all praise to the union, UAW, for the manufacturing stuff that's calling. Do not buy out of the country. Do not. Stop. I mean, realize that our website, we were forced to do business with China on that website. And just me, and nobody ordered anything. Thank God. I'm glad y'all didn't. But realize that the contracts that were with the hemp, where they have all the new patents that they want to roll out, all the new loops, supposedly all the factories that were being built to bring in the good stuff that we know is going to take us into the future, was all handed out to a bunch of monkeys that don't know what to do with it. If you were involved in BIT and you were even, and I don't know if this was taking place within the collective as much as the celebrity stuff, because that's what I've been around in that energy for the past 5 years because of how I was being utilized to write and what I was writing. Because they had me writing your personas stories to play out. That's why if I contact you or if you have a connection with me and you're a celebrity, you need to effing listen to me, because I'm telling you, they're coming for you. Especially if I'm telling you specifically, I know what's going to happen next. Realize it's because they used me to write what's going to happen next, because in my world, it is what already happened. We are done telling bad news. Only. But realize that in our journey of coming through this and saving ourselves, because it wasn't anybody who saved us, was it? No. There wasn't any magical person that showed up. There wasn't any magical twin. There wasn't any Air Force that put you in there. There was nobody that came to save us but our own alchemy skills. It's 3:16. 3:16 right now, because I've got it to pray at 3:16, and this is where it's hitting right this second. So my prayer is that everyone hear what I'm saying, because it doesn't take very many of us to make them stop making us pay. And that's what time it is. It's divine timelines. Saint Sarah was proven, whether or not everybody has such a hard time believing that I am from the evergreen timeline and that I am linked into Christ and that we do have the child astronomy coming in. And then how can I be sitting here and talking about business? Because it's cosmic Christ consciousness. We're in a totally different era than what Yahshua needed to come down here and talk about. And there was a reason that I was always in the Vatican purse. There's a reason that the entire Illuminati and the aprons and Constellation Web, and I was in your technology for as long as I was, understanding from a larger concept of how this flips and how easily it does whenever the humans are tuned. And realize that those of us who walked this specific journey in healing, and I need everybody that has been on your healing journey to, and you don't have to get on technology and do it, but spread the word that you know what to do. We were ready 3 years ago to put up signs everywhere. And I mean, you shouldn't have to be getting an x-ray. You shouldn't have to be going and getting a magnetic x-ray. Beings like me can tell you more than they can. And what, you want 20 or 30 bucks for it? Because, I mean, it takes 5 minutes. And you don't even have to be in front. These are the types of changes. And this is what I need everyone to dig deep and realize this is what time it is. But the uncomfortable time is to learn the alchemy. Utilize the information that you have now. But then don't go out thinking that you're just going to get rich off of it, because it's not why it's there. It's a mass alchemy concept for a bridge time. Bridging the old ways of doing things with the new ways of doing things, minus especially globalization, getting back to local, getting back to person, who's living around you, what is going on around you, because it's how the energy vibes, especially for the masses. And for those that are like me, and those that are like a lot of you on here, and I'm praying all of you, you know that we're doing this in the ethers before it even goes to get. And if you've been on here for a long time, then you know that you're already working, and you know that I'm preaching to the choir. But then those little things of what to do now, it's all about the alchemy. So my prayer is that this gets out to everybody in the world, especially all of the men. And they understand that the whole thing is a setup if you're continuing to go that direction. And I'm sorry about it, but you need to know, because the faster that you know, the faster you can course correct it, And not everybody's got to lose their damn houses, all right?